Pottery shelf. Pottery shelf. Pottery shelf. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna turn this on. Hopefully that doesn't die too fast. I feel like that's gonna die soon. Okay, here we are. Green on. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Shelly Dogs. We're back again. We got 3 more pots coming your guys' way. So just remember, what you focus on grows. Feed them horses. Green off. Alright. So there's the intro for today. Camera C. We got a little, look at this little thing, dude. Probably really loud, so sorry about that. Hopefully you can still kind of hear the music even though I was blaring that. Absolutely blaring it. We'll turn that. Alright. I'm gonna get right into it. Do we have all my tools? Look at that, everything was in here. Maybe I should just keep them in the water bucket more often. Is that kind of gross though? Maybe a little bit gross. A little water. Is this attached? This looks like it's not attached. It is. Camera B. Also, this is way too close up. Hold on. There we go. It's a leftover from yesterday. I was making a bunch of small mugs, so I had it zoomed in, but we're back to normal mode here. A little water right on this bottom edge. Push this up just a little bit. And there we go. Alright, again, right to the bottom. And bring down the hammer fist. Oh, somebody says hello, and then somebody said cringe. So funny. Can we talk some philosophy? Oh no. Maybe. Depends. Mushroom Moth says hello. Someone said, cool, bro. Whoa, look at how many people. What the heck is going on? Alright, camera A. Camera A. Alright. Alright, wheel. Wheel. There we go. Gonna bring this back. Wow, you guys don't understand how many of you guys popped off. What fake? Are you making a pot? Yo, you guys gotta chill. Holy cow. How many people are in the chat right now? This is so interesting. I've never had this sort of thing happen on my YouTube. Alright, so here we are. Camera B. So you're going to grab your little llama here, right? Llama's just prancing around. Llama is going to bite right on that rim. And when the llama bites on that rim, you know what llamas love? They always love volcanoes, right? So you're going to first get your little llama pole into your volcano. And once you have... why are we doing the volcano, right? So a lot of times, one of the big problems that I see for pottery, this is fake. What's fake? I'm not fake. I'm real, bro. But one of the biggest problems I see is when people are pulling up their walls, they rip it in the middle, right? And so by bringing this in and creating an equal wall thickness, right? As we're bringing this back out, you can already see I kind of opened that out. It's going to be a natural taper towards the top, so I don't usually rip that off, right? All right, now I'm going to bring my knuckle right underneath this the bottom here, and I'm slowly lifting this up, right? And we're not trying to get height out of this first pull. This first pull is all about just hammering down, you know, your, what is it called? Your wall thickness, right? Wow, this is so interesting. I can't get to all of your guys' comments. So I started pottery a month ago. Yeah, that's awesome. Just joined. What he's doing. You guys are so cool. Thank you guys for looking at it. I wonder if y'all just like saw me on your... You were doom scrolling and I interrupted your doom scrolling. Alright, again, your knuckle right on this bottom edge, and you're gonna, like, see this little bump? Right? That's all you do is you just slowly lift up this little bump, right? And a lot of people call it a pull, but for me it's always been a lift. Alright, and so we're gonna collar this top in just a little bit too. Slowly go right around that rim there. Alright. So, camera C. Camera C. There we go. Alright, pottery shelf. Alright, there we go. Right to the bottom edge here. And so what we're doing was we're trying to define this little bump here, right? And we ask the clay, we say, hey, clay, you got a quest for us? Then the clay always has a quest for us, right? And we thank the clay. The quest is we got to take this little bump, right? Do you see this little bump? And we got to bring it to the top of the vessel, right? Nice and slow. I always think about it. It's like a slug going to his next meal. Camera B. And you see it's starting to get a little bit ripply in that middle. I'm getting a little bit thin, but I'm not worried. I'm continuing that constant speed and pressure all the way to the top. And do you see that bump? I maintain that bump all the way to the top. I don't get freaked out whenever I see those little ripples and bumps, right? And there we go. Wow, what the heck? Okay. Vase? No, I'm making trees. You guys don't even know. Guy spam the heart emoji in the emoji window. So fun. But I also took a pottery class 4 years ago, so maybe my phone's being creepy. Definitely. Finally, YouTube knows what I want. Oh, that's so sweet. Make a bong. You guys are so funny. Oh my gosh. Honestly, imperfections make it look more original. Okay, well, if you like imperfections, wait till what I'm about to do here, okay? Alright. Here we go. Right to the bottom. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we do a 7? Yeah, I think we do 7. Alright, got to tuck this back in though. There we go. 1, 2. And we're just going to slowly walk this up, right? And so you're going to see this twist start to form. And so these are my, you know, most potters, they make pots that have been made for thousands and thousands of years, right? But for me, it's all about trying to find my own path in pottery, right? And so I call these my trees, right? Okay, so here we go. A little bit of water around this top. And so right now it's thinner in all those little veins. I call it the veins of the tree, right? And so as I pull out on this top here, you'll see what happens. A little bit of water. And it's slowly going to twist up, right? You got to be nice and slow and consistent, right? Don't do too much. Kiss that rim, right? And there we got a tree, right, guys? Big fella slinging clay. Love this. Thanks, Nolan. I appreciate it, bro. I saved you from doom scrolling. That's so funny. I actually love that they call it doom scrolling, to be honest. How are you rotating that? Like the clay? With my foot. My little foot here is spinning the clay. Alright, so also look at the inside, right? Camera C? Camera C? So you guys can kind of see the interior here. Alright, let me grab my flashlight. Right? And so people always say it looks like the Dune popcorn bucket, right? And I got a bunch of like old, it's millennials talking when they say goatsy. So if you were thinking goatsy, you're a millennial and I know it. All right. Anyway, right down to the bottom. So I gotta pop this up. Great. Right underneath. And so this bottom part is a spot that most people like to get rid of it, right? Bro, are you selling any of these? No, I'm not. I don't sell any of my trees. Since y'all are here, maybe I can show you. All right, if you guys want to see, let's see. How about Goated 1? Camera A.
What do you know? What the hell do you actually know about me, huh? Nothing! I'll tell you what kind of man I really am. I have no strength, but I want it all. I have no knowledge, but all I do is dream. There's nothing I can do but struggle and fail like an
So you guys can kind of see some of my edited stuff too. So funny. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna go right down to the bottom here. Fire edit. Oh, I have on my, if you go to my channel, you'll see a whole entire thing of, I do like a bunch of pottery edits, right? So I have a pottery music, and it's like, or pottery music edits, some playlist on my YouTube channel. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, have you guys seen this yet either? All right, watch this. You guys are gonna think this is funny. All right, green on. All right, so when I go to the end of my videos, I'm just doing this now since there's a lot of people here. Oh, it's kind of tipping over. Aw, that's okay. We'll see it in a little bit. But at the end of my videos, I'll do like a pottery review with me on the wheel. It's kind of fun, right? But anyway, green off. But pretty fun, right? I make 3 pots every day, and that's my vibe. But pretty cool. Yeah, I got a green screen set up. Alright, so here we go. You know what? I actually think I got to do a tendril on this one, right? And so this thing is totally falling, but you see most of these trees, they end up falling. Oh, so I got to turn this off because I always forget to turn this off, and it's just sucking the battery right now. Alright, guys. Sorry, guys. I got a little bit excited with everybody in here, so I just got to show some of you guys what I got cooking up. But let me get back into the zone. I'm going to do 3 tendrils on this one, right? And we cut the tendrils, and my form of pottery is all about reacting to what's going on, right? We're seeing a lot of collapsing happening here. So we're going to take these little tendrils, the things that most people would cut away when they go to trim, and we're going to make these into a little element on the side of the pots here, right? And so here I am bringing this up. Curl this up right on this edge here, and look at the way that we're just going to be interacting with this little ledge, right? So you'll see this one, this tendril is kind of like right, almost like it's holding the head up of the tree here, right? And so I like when these things stop functioning as patterns and they start feeling more like appendages, right? I think that's kind of like a big thing about my pottery. All right, so. And when I tell you guys I fill rooms, I literally fill rooms. So while I get this next piece, I'll show you guys another one of my edited things. So, all right. And strong mentality. Thanks, Nolan. Thanks for stopping. I appreciate it, bro. Bro should sell these for 60 bucks a piece. He could make a fortune. Maybe, but it's not about, for me, it's, see ya, Bolin Nolan. But yeah, I mean, I could sell them, right? But for me, guys, it's a lot more, it's not about like what I'm doing. I always say this, it's not about what I'm doing, it's what it does for my mentality, right? So it doesn't really matter to me to like sell these things. They're really just to help me callous my mind. And so that's kind of why I'm making these, right? And that's why I make like every day. And like, I used to think for a long time that like, if you make things in a high intensity, or I mean, think about it. Sometimes people join and ask me, what's the biggest pot I've made? What's the most I've made in a short period of time, right? But for me, it's never really about that. What it's actually more what it's about is it's about the consistency now. I realize that consistency is really difficult, right? Because you're gonna have days where like life just gets in the way at every single turn, right? And you hear your mind, your little, I mean, this is where the name Pottery Demon comes from. That little demon in your mind, you know, it's whispering to you comforts, right? It's telling you like, you don't have to do it today, you know, like, come on, give yourself a little bit of a break, right? And it's those battles that you have, right, that are the most important ones, right? But yeah, that's kind of my perspective on it. That's why I think consistency is always really cool. If I'm right down to the bottom, I'll curl this out. Okay. Camera C. Bring this up. Yeah, I try to react to the stream as much as I can too, you know, like this is the most people that have been, you know, talking for a little bit, which was pretty exciting. I think it was just like a quick burst, you know, and then, you know, some people click off, some people stay, but I don't know. For me, like, I didn't used to do the streaming. I used to just do the like recording and then editing the footage. But then I was like, well, since I'm doing it, I might as well just stream it live, right? So kind of worked out nice. Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you around. Thanks for stopping in. And somebody said hello, hello. Push this down, pull this out, right? All right. Push this right down in the middle. You gotta check and see if there's any rabbits in there. No rabbits, all right. Fill the pond with some water. Can't have the tadpoles dry out. Grab your hook and then cut right along that bottom. A lot of people will push, right? It shouldn't feel like you have to really fight against the clay in that moment because you're trying to cut through that bottom, right? Imagine it's like those 3 layers of a cake. If you move that bottom layer, you cut along that bottom layer, the top 2 layers are just gonna move with you, right? All right, so here we go. Camera B. Camera B. Grab your llama. And then you're gonna make a little volcano. Grab your knuckle, slowly push this in. Oh, sweet. There we go. Curve in there. Great. A little bit more water on the inside. Another knuckle pull right to the bottom edge here. And if I'm feeling at this bottom edge, it feels like I accidentally folded some clay rather than, what's it called? Manipulating it to go upward. It folded and there's a little bead of water in between those two layers. And so it's a little bit thin and awkward towards that bottom, right? But you just go slow during those phases and then keep that consistency and it should be okay, you know? All right, a little bit more water. Have your finger right on this bottom edge here. Define this little bump. Right? And that's all you do is you just walk this bump right up the top. Always remember that snail getting his next meal, right? He's hungry, but he's still patient. He's only going as fast as he can, right? Every time you're spinning the wheel at the speed that you're going, there's a limit, right? This is the second pot of the live stream. Yeah. This is number 2. I do 3 every day, so that's kind of my vibe. Alright, but I'm going to color this in just a little bit. The water right towards the bottom here. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, and we want to leave some space, and we want to make sure these are as even as possible. Looks okay. And you're going to have your hands right on the interior here. I call this the spider pull, right? And you're slowly going to feed this out, and that tension going outward, right, is going to cause that spot right underneath, right, to twist up, right? And so that's kind of where I got this idea of them functioning like trees, right? I gotta make sure I don't go as thin because the clay is a little bit softer. Usually I throw with some harder clay, and the softer the clay is, the more that it wants to water fissure, right? When I go thinner, where it's harder, it doesn't want to do that as much, right? And I'm right to this bottom edge, and I pop this up. Maybe I can do a petal skirt on the bottom of this tree for you guys since I did the tendril on the first one. And so I'm pulling this out. Okay. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We did 9. Alright, so when we have 9, we can't really do what I wanted, but we'll just try it anyway. It's going to be uneven, but that's fine. And then maybe we can create some little thing here. But this is what I call the petal bottoms, right? And so you're trying to make that bottom look kind of like petals. When it's an odd number though, you don't get an even because you have to skip one, so it only works out if it's odd, if it's even. But when it's odd, you can try to manipulate a little bit, but it's not perfect. But again, these aren't really supposed to be perfect, right? What I think about them is songs. I'm creating a big pottery album, right? And these are all different songs in that album, right? They all have the same vibe, but each of them are kind of executed a little bit differently, right? And so that's all about loading your process with potential, right? The more you load it with potential, the more opportunity for alterations, right? And then the more opportunity you leave for the material to teach you things, or you learn things about how to, elaborate on that process or on your making in general, right? And so I always think my favorite teacher right now is the material itself, right? And so once you can start having that dialogue with what you're making, right? Like once you can start hearing that thing that you're doing, it's not just with pottery, but when I hear that, when I feel that clay, I feel like I plugged in a cable, and like the data or the information that's coming from the clay is going right to my brain. I really feel like it's talking with you. It's just whispering to you as you're working with it, right? And so I think I really enjoy those moments. I actually hate ceramics, but I think it's really valuable, right? I think a lot of times growing up in digital age, we are most of our lives could be downloaded onto a thumb drive. So there's something about, you know, things taking up physical, tangible space that are the reflections and the memory of the hours that I put into it, right? I like that. I like looking around. I like holding an object, and it puts me right back to those moments, those hours that I spend on the wheel. Okay, pushing this in, right? And I imagine these are just two ways of like a car, oncoming and ongoing traffic, right? Right down to this bottom edge again. That push and that pull, going straight up, right? And we got one more that we can do here, right? And we're gonna be slow on the bottom. And project that forward a little bit. And when we get to the top here, slow or speed up the wheel just a little bit. And there you go, right? And then the fun part about this, right, is you can just bend this forward right on that top and start pushing down with your chicken wing of your hand. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But you can see, and wherever that starts to really wobble and bend, you just lower your hand to that area, your right hand, right? And you allow that left hand to really start controlling where that clay is going. And you can see smooth, consistent pressure. As long as your smooth, consistent pressure is going to stick right on center, right down to the bottom edge here. And you see how I'm not letting it fold over? I'm allowing that clay from that interior to feed into my hand until it pushes that out, right? So then I'm not folding any water underneath here. And then that's all I'm doing is I'm pushing this right back up. Going down just a little bit. Now I'm going to grab my hammer fist right on this top edge here. And I'm imagining this is cut into 3 sections here. It's a little bit off center, but it's all you do is you hold your hand right to the side, you grab your fist, and you slowly bring that out towards your palm here, right? And that kicks it right on center, right? As the clay is spinning around, it hits this hand, right? So as you're pulling that off-center clay out and you're keeping your elbow locked, right? Then it all goes straight to center as long as you're not moving your hands, right? I always say if your hands are moving, right, the pots are probably not going to be moving the way that you want it to be, right? So you want to be really locked in those moments, right? And so it's less about how much force you're generating and more about staying really sturdy, right? And then you're going to grab your little llama. He's coming back in frame here. He's going to bite down right on this rim. And then he's slowly going up. And again, it's like those 2 lanes of traffic again that are coming up and to make this little volcano shape, right? I always like keeping this top rim in. The closer you have that to center, usually the better and more consistent things are going to turn out, right? Once it starts getting away from you or it gets too thin, then it's really difficult to sort of snake that back on center there, right? So I always try to keep that rim controlled from the very start, right? Okay. So again, these first couple pulls, they're just to even out that clay thickness, right? Getting some more water. Get down the interior here. Bring your knuckle right to this bottom edge. And again, we're not trying to get height out of these first couple pulls. It's all about trying to get those walls even. How long have you been throwing? And how did you learn, right? So I've been throwing, like seriously throwing, for maybe like 4.5 years, right? But originally I was a drawing guy. I did a lot of charcoal drawings. And then I sort of quit that, right? And then I was in a ceramic sculpture class. And, you know, I just told myself, all right, well, I'm not gonna give up anymore. Whatever this next thing is, and it just happened to be ceramics, I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm not gonna give up on it no more, right? I had a long time where any little inkling of adversity would prevent me from continuing to push forward. And so then I just stopped giving up, and I kept going at it, and so that's kind of how long I've been doing it. And then your other question was, how did I learn? when I first started throwing, you know, I felt like since I was a drawing major, some of the professors, I feel like, didn't really take me learning the wheel seriously. I mean, they're also trying to teach a class, right? So there's a lot of students in there. So they set me on the kick wheel because I was a guy, and so they're like, all right, guy, you go kick wheel, you know, which is whatever. I didn't really care, right? I was just happy to be on the wheel. And I started, and I sucked ass. I was terrible. I was really, really bad. But then, you know, I had this idea where I was going to make a mug for every single, you know, one of my peers, right, in the school. And so I made like 800 and something mugs. And that's all I asked for. One of the mugs was a 1-minute audio recording of your coolest memory. And then I made a website that kind of linked them all together, right? And I had a QR code on the mug so you could see the audio recording, right? If you go on my YouTube, you'll probably, if you scroll back far enough, you'll see some of the clips from that, right? And then, you know, I think I just started getting way better at throwing because of that, right? Look at that. It's kind of interesting. This one didn't really go really nice and tight, so I'm going to hold this right underneath and just set that down so it has a nicer twist. But that kind of propelled me to start learning about material a lot more. It's a little thin on one side, so it's dipping down, but that's all chill. But yeah, that whole process of making all those mugs really catapulted me into it, because I'm not naturally good at, you know, I have that problem where I'm pretty average at most things when I start them, and I struggle to get past that average level, right? And so for a long time I really struggled, but I realized that if I just keep doing it, I'll get better, right? And then that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just continuing up that staircase of pottery, trying to get better every time I throw. So that's kind of how I kind of learned. You know, I think my pottery style is not like most people. You know, a lot of potters that I talk to, they actually say that I use way too much water, or I'm doing all this stuff wrong, and like, that's all fine. I don't really care, because I'm still making my objects, and I'm not trying to be like other, you know, I know that sounds edgy. I'm not trying to be like other people, but you know, I want to really find my own voice using the wheel, and I don't necessarily think I fit in when it comes to, you know, modern pottery aesthetic, right? And so you know, you type in #pottery on Instagram, and I doubt you'll see anything that looks similar to like my stuff, right? And that's fine. I don't really mind. But again, like, I'm not trying to make pots that have been made for thousands and thousands of years. I'm trying to find my own path, my own idea, right? Hyper fixating on the individual. I think that's something that, you know, Western culture really, allows for, is that idea of the individual, right? Where you go into a lot of Eastern pottery areas, right? And it's all about kind of you're a gear in this practice, right? The practice of pottery. You are, through doing it and through keeping those rules and ideas alive, you are part of this giant machine. Where for me, I just kind of want to be an individual, not a part of a machine, right? But here we go. I want to build my own machine. How about that? All right. So this is number 1, or well, this is number 3, but we'll have this in the front here. Camera A. How do we like this? Okay. So so these are the 3 for the day. So I'm setting up the thumbnail right now. I have this one right on the top here. How's that looking? I feel like you can't really tell that this looks like it's holding it up, so I'm going to tilt it over a little bit. How do we like this image? Is that looking scrumptious? Let's check it out. Yeah, I like, see that, just that little tendril that's peeking out on that top, I think has a really good energy to it. Alright, so these are the pots for today. So let me go back over here. Okay. Alright, green on. Whoop, green on. Green on. There we go. Hello everybody. We're back again with another pottery review. Let's head over to this one first. This is the one that I just finished. I think that this one has a pretty even collapse all the way around. It hasn't torn yet. And I really like the way that the tendrils are interacting with the vessel. They're teetering on functioning like a pattern, but they're starting to act more like appendages. So I'm a big fan of how that one's looking. If I go to this one right here, this one totally collapsed over on one side. But I like the way that you can kind of see this interior, or this almost the veins twisting up right underneath, right? Almost looking like the gills of a mushroom where the spores kind of get released out. And so I think that kind of looks a little bit nicer. The petals on this one were an odd number petals, so one of them is a little bit janky, but I think you can't really tell just because there's a lot of moments where it's a little bit wonky, right? So I think it allows for those sort of things to happen on the bottom there. And then we got the one on the top, and I really like the way that, the top, when they dip down, right, it almost acts as like the rim starts acting as a framing device for that interior spiral. And so I think this top one is pretty interesting because you can kind of see the veins of the trees twisting up, right? And you can also start revealing that interior space as being something that's no longer just to be filled with something, but is functioning as its own sculptural element. But I'm a big fan of that, and I also like the way that that little tendril's kind of peeking out up there. But anyway, thanks again guys for watching. All the best, and strong mentality. Thank you so much. Someone said, yeah, baby, collar that neck. Alex. Bro, come on. Somebody said, wow, amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm gonna head off here. I gotta cook myself some dinner, and then I gotta, what's it called? Edit the footage of today. But hey, thanks again so much for watching. If y'all stuck around since the beginning too, I really appreciate that. You guys, like, it was kind of cool today. At the beginning, all of a sudden, I got a bunch of people on the YouTube coming in, and so I think that was pretty exciting for me. So thanks for that little glimpse of excitement on being a streamer pottery person. So I appreciate that. I'll see you guys around in the next one, okay? Peace.